Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, well, Nikki Haley's in hot water. In New Hampshire Town Hall, a voter bluntly asked Nikki Haley, what was the cause of the Civil War? I think her answer was, and these are quotes here, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of people are. And I will always stand by the fact that I think government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. They don't need to tell you what you can and can't do. They don't need to be a part of your life. They need to make sure that you have your freedom. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure we do all the things that individuals have the liberties so that they can have the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do anything they want to without the government getting involved in any way or getting in the way. The voter then responded that he found it astonishing that Nikki Haley did not use the word slavery at any point in her answer. To which she responded, what do you want me to say about slavery? Arrgh! Just when you think going full potato is reserved for Lauren Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nikki Haley says, hold my drink. You dipshit. You're an ambassador to the UN. You're the former governor of South Carolina. And you couldn't get that one right. What does that say about the Republican Party and their base and what their base believes? All right, Nikki, entertainment purposes only. How did this gaffe, what did this just do for your chances in your nomination for the GOP? Okay, we're looking at agreements here. I think what's going to be crossing it? Queen of Cups. Oh, Lordy. I would say that the people she's made agreements with... Okay, the right answer should be the people she made agreements with cannot believe how bad she just botched this. And all the work that they've done has been flushed down the drain because this woman could not answer a simple question correctly. That's what the right answer should be. But I don't think that's what the answer is. I think this is showing me the people that she's in bed with. I'm sorry, let me use a different term. The people that she's in most aligned with and agree with have been working hard, giving her money, and maybe this is what they want. Slavery is not a topic that should be coming up in presidential elections, which kind of gives you an idea of just how far we've slipped as a country. That, nobody should have been asking Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or George W. Bush or Bill Clinton or H.W. or Ronald Reagan about slavery. This should have been something that was sorted out, 150 years ago. Clearly it hasn't. But, and when you can't get the answer right, oh, for God's sake, what does that say about this woman? But, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. It's like she's messaging to people and she tried to keep her calm and her poise. But, this is the apprentice card. This is doing the work. But this could be the underlying slavery card if you really want to look at it. Because maybe what you don't see off camera on this card is the guy with the bullwhip that's making sure this guy does all the work in here. Yeah, well, I think in the end of the day, what you've got is her agreements with the elites, the Koch brothers and such. They think they've got their woman to lead as the presidency. And here's the underlying slavery card. Now, we don't want to call it slavery. We just want workers who go to work for the least amount of wages possible, don't get much sick leave, can't organize a union. They just work from age 7 until age 70 until they fall over and collapse, and then you just plop another cog in the wheel. I think basically that that voter that asked her that question really unveiled what's going on in this country. And I've mentioned that before. Sorry if I'm pontificating here. The reason for the pontificating is that I'm working my way through the answer here. And it comes back to the American oligarchy and moving to an authoritarian government system that's then kind of ruled by an oligarchy. And the oligarchy, they have all the money and pretty much everybody underneath them is a peasant. And a peasant is just a fancy word for a slave that has more rights. Pretty much, but they're not much different than a slave in that regard. In the past, we've got the 9 of Pentacles. This is Nikki Haley aligning herself with the wealthy donors and coming to agreements with those wealthy donors. And she just needs to kind of stay the course. But I think this question kind of spoke the quiet part out loud, the part that they're not talking about. And if you think about what the Republicans are trying to do with restricting welfare, restricting Social Security benefits, so on and so forth, that's the path we're taking. The undoing of all the things that United Workers put together and built over time. The current situation is basically we're at the precipice of an American oligarchy, an authoritarian government with an American oligarchy. The wealthiest families that are currently supporting her, making her the 9 of Coins, they want to keep their money, they want to keep their wealth and their power and their control and their say of what happens, so that they basically become nobility in the United States. And they want to institutionalize it. When you start cutting Social Security, when you start cutting welfare, what happens is people don't have the money because of Social Security. They may not feel very well because they're getting sick because they don't have affordable health care. So they have to work longer to keep health benefits. And if they're sick, they may not, they may have to leave the workforce. If they have family, the family might have to leave the workforce before fully educated because you can't afford college. And if the wages aren't good, then all of a sudden you have to have people working kids working when they're younger to help keep the family afloat. And what's happening is we are now regressing back to feudal times. She has a decision to make. She really has a choice she has to make. She flubbed this one. She said the quiet part out loud. And now she has a choice she really has to make. Is this who she is? There's a lot of self-reflection that this woman needs to go through at this point in her life with this question. Wow, 3 queens. Queen of Wands. Queen, you got the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of, and not the Queen of Coins, but the 9 of Coins, which basically looks like a queen or a princess anyways. So what's she going to do? She now has to... I think she realized she really messed this up because her campaign's already backtracking. Like, well, of course she meant slavery, but she was trying to delve deeper than the obvious answer. No, that's just amazing. So now she's going to have to start doing some damage control over this. And I'm wondering if she's going to have to start distancing herself from some of her donors or things along those lines. Or if people are going to start distancing themselves from her. She's got a lot of work she needs to do because of that gaff. And it's funny, I was just watching a TikTok video where a teacher was talking with their students about the first states that seceded from the Union and why they did it. And I'm wondering if that is in response to Nikki Haley's comment. The other thing that came onto my TikTok right after that was this guy named Hawk, who was talking about Nikki Haley getting this answer wrong. And it's like, are you kidding me? I looked on the news and, yep, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Now, for the MAGA base, does this actually give her more cred than what she had before? What a world we live in. Again, Spirit is kind of laying things bare. And it's just, it gets more depressing. It is depressing. But it just gets more stark with every gaff, every new, layer that's removed, just how dark and twisted one of the political parties in this country is. Okay, how do the Southern voters, the voters that would be supporting Nikki Haley, how are they viewing this? Three of Pentacles. Maybe they're rethinking their. She probably has two groups of voters, right? Now, you've got the people in the dark rooms that are like, yeah, she finally said it. And then you have the other people like, she said that? Really? Huh. I had no idea. Another three. Three of Wands. Four of Swords. Page of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Okay, a lot of Pentacles here. Now you've got an Ace of Pentacles. You've got the 3 and the Page. I think what's going to happen, the question I was asking was, how are her supporters going to view this? Some of her money's going to go dark from donors because of that comment. She's going to have to lay low for a while. Make her apologies and then lay low so she doesn't stick her foot so far down her mouth that she gets, athlete's foot on the back of her throat down to her stomach. You idiot. And now she's got to figure out what's her next step. How does she move forward from this gaffe? She's going to offer an apology. It's going to be, she needs to offer a huge apology, and what you're going to get is a little apology. I think that the money that she's normally has been collecting is going to go dark, and that's a lot of money that she needs to run this campaign, and this is not a good time for it to go dark. She gets a little bit of money coming in, but I think this is also an apology she's going to offer as she tries to now navigate this situation she's just created for herself. I was asking how the voters are thinking. I think she cooled off voters on her. This could also, if you're looking at the voters, she's not going to start, like some of the money that dries up is going to be from the smaller voters. They're going to take a step back and reevaluate their choices. Maybe there's a better candidate out there for them to give their money, but they're not going to give her, the only money that's going to come in for her now is big donation. She's not going to get the grassroots stuff. Donald Trump kind of already has the grassroots stuff. But I think overall her campaign is going to be hemorrhaging a lot of cash for that maneuver on her part. Okay. Last thing I want to throw on this. What's the... I can only imagine. What's the spiritual lesson that we're to learn from Nikki Haley not being able to say that slavery was the cause of the Civil War? What's the spiritual message? I mean, it could be just as obvious as it seems that racism was alive and well, and she's more than happy to support it. That she's too cowardly to, say something offensive to the base. And what does that say about the base if they're going to be offended saying that the Civil War started over slavery? What reality are they living in where, the Confederate flag doesn't stand for, or the Stars and Bars doesn't stand for slavery, it stands for Southern pride. Again, the education system has failed. What's the spiritual message to learn from this? Going forward carefully with the plan? Well, I could see that. that this has been a plan. This has been they talk about the slow rolling coup. This is the Southern strategy continuing down its natural progression. Southern strategy going all the way back to Nixon to roll in the Southern states, the Dixiecrats and such, under the Republican banner, and allowing for, giving leeway to the evangelicals in other Southern states, and basically them wanting to put things the way they were. It's basically redoing the Civil War all over again. Is that what we're seeing here? The lovers, yeah. Okay, so I was talking about the Southern strategy. It's, this is the Republican Party. This is who they are. This is who they've been devolving into for the last 50 years plus. This is the strategy. These are the relationships that they've cultivated. This is what they believe in. This is what they think is their way to the promised land. They're uniting folks under their banner. They didn't like losing that war. They want it back. They want that victory. They lost the war the first time, and now they're fighting the war the second time. They're going to win this time. And they want their, it's like they want their way of life and their values shown to everyone. No, mind you, it's funny because, not funny, but, you assault ethnic groups and you're assaulting women. What's the other? Basically, non-Christians, I guess, would be Muslims or whatever. Attacking brown people, attacking women, attacking religions that aren't your own. It's kind of like the trifecta. That's the unholy trinity of the Southern states as they try to keep slavery alive and well. And, if they succeed in it, it's going to be harsh living. There's going to be no deviating from the sacred tenet here. And they'll go looking for people. It would basically become a police state. That's what they're devolving into. So on the positive side, what do we need to do? We have to recognize what we're seeing. And we have to keep moving forward with society. Bringing everybody into the camp. You have to do it through laws. Because you can't rely on people using goodwill and good decision making to do it. So you have to make the decisions for them because they will not support it otherwise. And the hermit in this case, not only when you shine a light on something dark like this, it diminishes. Then creatures of the dark like the dark. When the light shines on them, they scurry away to find the dark cracks. So you need to send folks back in there. But this is also lighting the path forward for the young people and the next generations coming in. So that's a dual way to read this. It's kind of the spiritual message on the low vibration and then the high vibration. So how do you counter it? How do you counter people that want to take us back to the days of slavery? You got to keep pushing forward for supporting everybody's rights, whether they're women, LGBTQ community, people of a different ethnic background, people of a different religious background. You have to fight for everybody's rights. It's just the way it is. And right now we are seeing an incredible pushback on all those fronts. In some areas or some parts of it, they're making way more success and progress than the others. But it's going to be an equal push on all of those fronts. So we need to push back. Your vote in 2024 is going to be very important. It's a critical year. So keep that in mind. Anyways. It was a dark reading, isn't it? Sorry about that. But it is what it is. Anyways, thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for doing everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience, to new viewers, new subscribers, folks that are just recently discovering this channel. Welcome. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.